Okay, let's move on to number 6. What is the start time? I like when they tell me right off the bat what I'm looking for. I appreciate that. What is the start time if the end time is 11:25 in the morning and the elapsed time is 8 hours? Okay, so I have end time right here. I'm going to fill that in, 11:25, and it's in the morning, so that's a.m. And my elapsed time, it tells me, is 8 hours. Okay, so I know I need to put in a number line to help me solve this problem. Where am I going to start on my number line if I'm looking for the start time? Did you tell me that we need to start at the end because we're given the end time? If you did, you were correct. So I'm going to put in 11:25. And I need to make 8 jumps backwards down the number line to see what my start time is going to be down here. So let's start making some jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, I spaced that perfectly, didn't I? All right, so I made 8 jumps for my elapsed time, but now I got to figure out what time is this down here that I jumped to. So we're going to count backwards from our hour starting at 11:25. So 1 less than 11:25 would be 10:25. Then we would go to 9:25, 8:25, 7:25, 6:25, 5:25, 4:25, and finally 3:25. So our end time was 11:25, was 8 hours long, so it started at 3:25 in the morning, a.m. All right, we have 2 more examples. Now you notice now I don't have the chart or the number line to help me, but I can still use those strategies. Just because the problem doesn't give me those to start with doesn't mean I can't still use those strategies. I like those strategies, so I'm going to put them in here and get them ready so that I can use them to help me solve the problem. So start, elapsed. I'm going to have to abbreviate that because I made my boxes a little small, and end. Okay? Then I'll go ahead and slap down my number line here. What is the elapsed time? What is the elapsed time? So I'm already going to put my question mark in there. If the start time is 11:15 at night and the elapsed time is 7 hours. Ooh, let's see about this one. So the start time is 11:15 at night. At night means it's p.m. And the elapsed time is 7 hours. Elapsed time is 7 hours. Oh, you know what? I'm noticing that this question is written incorrectly because it says, what is the elapsed time? And then it's telling me what the elapsed time is. So, you know what? Since it gives us the start time and the elapsed time, I'm going to go ahead and find the end time. Let's move our question mark down here. So I am going to try to see if I can get these notes fixed up for you before you get it to print out. So hopefully they'll be correct for you and won't have a mistake. I thought I had previewed these carefully. Apparently not. That's okay. So let's put 7 hours in here. We're going to find the end time. So if we have a start time, that means we start here at the beginning of the number line at 11:15, and we're going to have to make our jumps for our elapsed time. They're going to be 7 jumps. We're going to get to the end to find our end time. Okay, let's make our 7 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, there we go. We have our jumps. And then we're going to find out what our elapsed time is. Now this problem is a little bit advanced. This actually takes us beyond what you have to do for 3rd grade, but I bet a lot of you are going to be able to figure this out. So I wanted you to see one of these types of problems. So if it's 11:15, what's our next hour? 12:15, right? Okay, now here is where the tricky part goes. When we go from 12:15, what's our next time going to be? 13:15? Well, if you follow military time, then it would be 13:15. But most of us don't tell time with military time. So what comes after 12 o'clock? What's our next hour? Do you know? If you said our next hour is going to be 1:15, then you were correct. So that's a tricky little transition right there, but it's really not that bad. If you know how to tell time on a clock and you know that once you get from 12, you go to 1, it's not going to be a problem for you as long as you use your number line, right? Then from 1:15, we know we go to 2:15, then 3:15, 4:15, 5:15, then we have 6:15. So if we started at 11:15 and it went for 7 hours, then our end time would be 6:15. Ooh, now here's another tricky part. We started at night, but we went past midnight. This guy right here would be midnight. That's past midnight. So if we're now at 6:15, is that still nighttime? No, now we're at 6:15 in the morning. So this is going to be AM. So that's a little bit tricky too, because right here at midnight, we switch from PM to AM. Cool. All right, let's look at one more example. Number 8 says, what is the start time if the end time is 8:50 at night and the elapsed time is 7 hours? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my chart in because even though it's not here, I can still use it because that's a great strategy. Okay, start, elapsed, shove it in there this time, there we go, end. I'm going to have my number line. So I'm looking for what is the start time. The end time is 8:50 at night, so that's 8:50 p.m. And the elapsed time is 7 hours. Okay, so what do we do when we're looking for a start time? Do you remember what's different about it when we're looking for a start time? Did you say that we're going to start at the end and work our way back? I hope you did. So let's go to the end of our number line. We're going to fill in our 8:50. Now we need to make our 7 jumps coming backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so I know my start time is right here. I just don't know what it is yet, so I need to fill in those times going backwards. So before 8:50 is 7:50. Before 7:50 is 6:50, 5:50, 4:50, 3:50, 2:50, 1:50. So our start time is 1:50. Now, since we didn't cross that AM, PM at midnight or at noon, we're still at PM for this guy. All right. So I hope you found these notes helpful. Sorry about the mistake in number 7, but I'll try to get that fixed for you. So when you are working on your problems that you have for this week, make sure you think about using that table to help organize your information and help you decide what strategy to use. Are you going to find the end time? So you mark your start time, put in your jumps, and find that time at the end? Are you going to be finding the elapsed time? You put in your start time, you put in your end time, and you count the jumps in between? Or are you missing your start time where you need to start with the end time and work backwards for your number of jumps to find that start time. I look forward to seeing all your wonderful work that you submit. Thanks, guys. I have one more example that I want to show you for elapsed time. This is another way you might see elapsed time problems given to you. Instead of having a word problem, you might see a chart like this. Now, I don't think we're going to have time to go through the entire chart, but I want to give you some strategies for how you could work these types of problems. So instead of being up and down with start time, elapsed time, end time, they've gone side to side here. We still have our start time, we have a place for the end time, and we have the elapsed time. So we can see which piece is missing. I don't have any room here to do my number line really, so I've got some scrap paper so I can do that. So I'm still going to use the same strategies that I did before. I'm just not going to remake that chart because I basically have it right here. So if my start time is 5 a.m. and I need to find my end time, I can draw my number line here. I know the start time, so I'm going to put in 5 o'clock, and I'm going to look for 4 hours of elapsed time. So that means I need to do 4 jumps. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I just need to go in and fill in my times, and then I'll be able to find that end time down here that I'm missing. So 1 more hour after 5 o'clock is 6 o'clock. We have 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and our end time will be 9 o'clock. So I could fill in 9 o'clock a.m. for my end time. Okay, I'm going to go down to another one. This one, I have the start time, I have the end time, but I don't know the elapsed time. So remember, my strategy for that one is I'm going to do my number line. I'm going to mark my start time at the beginning. And I'm going to go all the way down until I get to my end time at 11:45. Ooh, I might need to make my number line a little longer. All right, so we got 5:45, 6:45, 7:45, 8:45, 9:45, 10:45, and finally 11:45. I did need to make my number line longer there. Okay, then to find our elapsed time, we're just counting the number of jumps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My elapsed time is 7 hours. Okay, let's do one more example, but I'm going to skip down to this one because we've done one where the end time was missing and elapsed time was missing. Now I want to do one where our start time is missing. So when our start time is missing, make my number line. I don't know what I'm doing down here at the start, so I'm going to move all the way to the end and put in my end time. And my elapsed time is 2 hours, so I need to move backwards 2 hours. 1, 2. So let's count back from 11:44. 1 hour before that would be 10:44. Another hour before that would be 9:44. So there's our start time. We're at 9:44 p.m. All right, there you go, boys and girls. So you might see it on a chart like this, or you might see it as a word problem. Either way, you're using your same number line strategy.